Patricia Gras. Welcome to Passion Time. I'm here with Sonia Clayton, one of the top female entrepreneurs of this country. And she happens to be here in Houston. She's the CEO of Virtual Intelligence Providers, which conducts business in over 50 countries. It is a Texas-based information technology firm, but before that, she worked for Air France and Continental Airlines. And she, however, comes from very humble beginnings. She was born in Colombia, lived many years in Venezuela, and now, thank God for us, she is here in the United States. Welcome to Passion Time. And my first question is, how did you find your passion and how are you living your passion?
I found my passion through a lot of it through friendships, a lot of support from the family. My mother was always encouraging me to do the right things, to be a good friend, to be supportive of others, and so I think in that way I found that.
So your passion is helping others. It sounds like, right?
That is my passion.
Your passion is helping others.
I love it. I created my business to help others. It was created almost by accident, but it was helping others.
So that was your passion. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you, because you're one of the top. You have won more awards, over 26 awards, some White House awards, Congress awards. You've got them all. I don't think there's one award you haven't won as an entrepreneur. So tell me a very basic question. What makes a successful entrepreneur?
A successful entrepreneur is somebody who is aware of how big the task is. A lot of entrepreneurs will tell you, I want to be an entrepreneur. And the reality is, a lot of them fail to understand how big of a task that is. A lot of them just have the passion but don't have the faith. A lot of them have the faith but don't have the works. So you got to put everything together. You have to make sure that everything comes together in order to become a successful entrepreneur. You have to be able to accept failure, because if you are not familiar with failure and you cannot accept failure, then you're going to be on the ground on the first round. So a successful entrepreneur is somebody who can take those punches, but at the same time is able to get up and get going and redo it over and over and over again. It's just like the guy that invented the light bulb. How many times did he invent it? Over 1,000 times. How many times? And at one time he was interviewed and he was asked, well, how do you feel about failing over 1,000 times? And he says, no, I didn't fail over 1,000 times. I reinvented the light bulb 1,000 times.
Right.
It's a different perspective.
So reinvent yourself too.
So it's absolutely right. That's what you have to do.
The thing about, there's a similarity between being an immigrant and being an entrepreneur. In the sense, and by the way, most entrepreneurs are immigrants. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
And because there is no going back. You have to move forward no matter what.
You have no plan B.
You have no plan B because there's no plan B. You can't go back.
Absolutely not. When I came to America, I would look back and I say, well, where is my plan B? I had no home to go back. I had no father. My mother was very poor. So did I have an option to go back? Here. I had no option. I had no plan B. That's exactly right. So an entrepreneur that enters a business project or objective with a plan B in mind, he already failed.
Right.
You cannot go
There's no falling back in anything.
Absolutely not.
What is your model for work?
My model for work is work very hard. Be willing to work.
Not 9 to 5, that's for sure.
No 9 to 5. No. Be willing to fail. Be willing to get up and go. And nothing if you can do something better, nothing is well done until you do it right. So do it all over again and do it until it's right.
Right.
Excellence has to be your brand. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you don't have excellence in your branding, then nobody's going to buy from you.
Right.
So, Aristotle said, we are what we practice. We are what we do in routine. So, success is not just making success, but success is a habit.
Right. It's doing it over and over and over, and it becomes a habit.
It comes with excellence. So that's my model for doing something. If I do something, I'm going to do it very well done.
But you also you've told me about treating people with dignity and respect. And why is that important?
Very important. I believe that people should be treated with dignity and respect. I don't believe in being a rude boss. I don't believe in being an overpowering or condescending individual. That's never been my style, and my employees can tell you that. As a matter of fact, my employees and I have no barrier. They can come up to me. I'm the CEO, but they have my cell phone. They can call me anytime, and they do call me anytime. Sometimes because I'm not in Houston that much. Sometimes when I'm talking to my employees, or they call me and they say, Sonia, we want to have 5 minutes with you. Or I say, come to my house. Come to my house. And they come to my house. And when they come to my house, I can take them to lunch. I can cater a meal, but I choose to cook that meal and serve them. Because that's who I am. If you come to my house,
you're like a mama. You're like a good mama, like a mama. I love it.
And they get they're so surprised, that I do that. Oh, this is my boss.
But this is I don't know if you agree with this, but this is a very Latin thing to do. Is to treat them like family, right?
I think so.
You often say money and fortune is not what motivates you. So what does motivate you?
What motivates me is learning. Motivation comes from educating myself, improving myself as an individual, and making other people better. Okay. That is my.
Okay, that's what moves you. Now, you also talk about the pull and push theory, and this is important because it sort of fits into your philosophy of life.
Right, and it's because the world has changed. The world of business, as I knew it when I came to America during the Reagan administration, 1980s, to today is a complete different thing. And in those days, a boss will come and tell you, this is how I want my corporation to run. I want these standards, and I want you to follow this business model, this marketing model, this strategic model, and the corporation altogether will push that whole idea. And that's what we call a corporation of push. But the world today, the new generations, the generations that have emerged during these last decades, they act different, they learn different, and they do business differently. And so they have more of a pull concept, which is let's all come together as a group and let's all make it happen as one. And so if you look at an organization like Facebook or LinkedIn, or if you look at an organization like Amazon, this is what they practice. That's why they're so successful. It's because one individual had an idea, shared this idea with a group of friends, and those group of friends, normally from Harvard, end up putting together a great business. And they all pull together.
Right, they work together as a team.
There is no one single boss telling them what to do and how to do it.
Well, it's not from the top down.
Exactly. It's a unity. It's a pool that comes together and say, let's do it this way. So in other words, one head thinks well, but 10 heads think better.
Well, absolutely. Now, the other thing is that you've noticed, you talked about the 80s, is technology has changed our lives so dramatically. Now, how do we adapt or thrive in this constantly changing environment?
To me, it's the same challenge of always wanting to learn something new. So I teach myself a lot of things. I find ways to learn online. I joined Harvard Business School. I joined several university boards. And so I'm part of everything that is happening in the world. I put myself in the center of where the clock is ticking, and I make sure that I learn those technologies as fast as I can.
Now, what do you think is the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs generally make?
Biggest mistakes is, as I mentioned before, is perhaps the underestimating of the task. They don't realize how daunting the task of becoming an entrepreneur can be. And so, a lot of people can have a dream, but the problem is we have a lot of dreamers, and
not doers.
And very limited amount of doers. And so you have to be both. You have to have the vision, you have to have the dream, but you have to be able to roll your sleeves and do it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I would like for you to share what your future plans are.
One time I thought about politics because everybody says that I'm good at politics.
Right.
But and I'll tell you right now, I'm a very conservative thinker. I believe in the America that I found when I came here in the 1980s. It was a fabulous America. I was so excited that I took 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. Well, I wish I could find the same America today, and it doesn't exist, and it's a little disappointing for me. But I don't want to be in politics at this point. I just want to continue to help people out. So I would like to go in a mission. I've been invited to actually lead a very prestigious business school of a very prestigious university. I'm thinking about all these things, but most of all, I'm enjoying being a grandmother. of my grandson Sammy.
All right, Sonia Clayton, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, if you want to get a hold of her, your website is
www.vip-global.com.
It's got VIP in it. It must be good.
That's right.
All right, watch us on Passion Time next week. See you then.
Yo sé que tú puedes, que tú eres capaz. Cambia tu vida. La vida es una y tú vas a triunfar. Cambia tu vida. Con fe y esperanza, las puertas